Hello, Matthew Gears here with 3AG Systems. Today I'm going to be talking about a blog post that we put together a couple of months back titled BI Strategy Beyond Excel. And in it we look at some of the challenges that many companies, many mid-sized companies are facing with regards to managing the huge volumes of data that they've got and trying to find a way to effectively communicate that internally. One of the big things that we hear, or one of the sort of anecdotal things that we're getting from lots of people out there, is that despite the fact that companies have a lot of data and they have access to it to a certain degree, they're still relying on gut instinct. And that's a little worrisome. It's a bit troubling, especially when you can see articles pretty much everywhere talking about how important it is to use data to get an advantage for your business. One of the reasons that we think this phenomenon occurs is because many companies are still using inadequate tools for business intelligence, for business analytics, and for dashboarding and reporting. And that tool happens to be Excel. Bernard Marr put together an article where he talks about how 1 in 5 businesses today still uses Excel as their primary tool for communicating and sharing data and information within the company. That's shocking. I mean, it's a testament to how powerful the tool is and how long it's been around, but at the same time, it's not nearly adequate enough because it was never designed to be used for such large amounts of data. Today, a company will have many different systems that are each producing their own data. If they have any modern cloud-based system, that's another source of data coming in. And Excel is just not designed to be able to pull in data from all these different sources, at least in an automated manner. In addition, it's not the most intuitive tool unless you've spent some time working with it. So everyone can use Excel to create simple spreadsheets, but can they do it for advanced analysis or advanced reporting? On top of that, one of the other challenges is just the amount of raw data that Excel will show. I mean, you can dig through the sheets and you can see like pages and pages and pages of data that just might overwhelm an average user. But probably the most important and the most concerning challenge with Excel is the fact that it's really easy to create copies of an Excel worksheet and to basically go off into different streams. So one person, everyone's working off a common report, and then one day someone on the team says, okay, I'm going to go create a copy of this, and then that becomes the master for them, and everyone else is still working with the original one. And suddenly you have a disconnect, and that leads to all sorts of issues and challenges. And when you get to a situation where people are starting to question the data or whether it's the right version of the data, you're just slowing things down, and quite honestly, you're making it hard for people to trust that they're seeing the right information in the first place. So what's going on out there? One of the big challenges that we hear from a lot of companies that we talk with is the fact that they're literally drowning in data. They're overwhelmed by all this data coming in, the fact that they've got these different sources, whether it's from different departments, or whether it's from different cloud-based tools or CRMs or whatever. But there's no way, or they feel that there's no way to put it all together. And what happens as a result is that they end up doing a lot of things that are ad hoc. So there'll be a lot of ad hoc reports. They'll have individuals who maybe it isn't their full-time job to go and put together some report, but they're getting asked on a very regular basis, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Or in some of the smaller organizations, they might just go to the IT department, who has a whole other set of burdens that they're working with and a whole different set of challenges that they have to focus on. And they'll say, look, can you help me out with this analytics or this report or pull some data for me from this system, because they happen to be the most technically savvy people within the organization. This leads to an environment where people are overwhelmed, they might be a bit panicky, they're ultimately drowning not just in the data, but in the requests to get at that data. And you might not think that it's as big of an issue if you're not the person who has to pull a report or put together a report at the last minute. But imagine that if you're that person and it's not your full-time job, then you're going to start making panicky decisions, and you might make some mistakes in putting something together, and it's probably going to be different than the last report that you put together. This becomes a real challenge when you think of the fact that larger enterprise organizations often have dedicated teams that look at reporting, that look at analytics, that look at pulling all this stuff together, and they can often automate a lot of this. And so if you happen to be a mid-sized company that is not doing this and that is trying to pull everything together and a bit overwhelmed by all of the requests or by the data, then you're at a competitive disadvantage with your larger competitors. So what's a company to do and how do you approach it? Well, a first step is to take stock of your situation. So you need to understand what kind of data you're looking at on a regular basis and what kind of data is accessible to the team or should be accessible to the team. You need to understand whether that data is currently useful, whether it's complete. Are you actually looking at all the right information? So for example, if you're trying to do analysis and profiling of your customers, are you looking at all the right data sources, or do you need to pull in external data maybe to complement that customer analysis? And most importantly, are you doing a lot of these analysis in an ad hoc manner? And if you are, that's a sign that things are maybe a bit out of control and you need to have some more formal process in place. And so one way to solve this problem is to bring on an internal team that looks after managing the data, looks at the data engineering and the pipelining and all of that we'll talk about in a future video, but that also can provide high quality reporting and analytics capabilities for the team. If you're a company that doesn't have the budget to be able to do that or doesn't want to invest in that particular skill set, then chances are you're going to need to look to outsource that and bring in an external partner. And in working with an external partner, it's very important to be able to ensure that they're the right type of partner. And there's a couple of things that we recommend that you look at in terms of evaluating an external partner. First off is whether or not they can put together some sort of complete data strategy for you, and they can make recommendations on exactly what you need to do, both from a data engineering as well as from a BI and business analytics perspective. You need to find a company that can help you consolidate not just a few of the data sources, but all of your data sources, both internal and external. And that part is very important. If you're working with a company that can only work with your finance system or maybe your CRM system, you're only getting a fraction of the value, because the real insights for a company are coming when you're pulling data from, when you're able to look at data from different disparate sources, put it together and actually generate KPIs and metrics that are tracking a more complete picture of the business problem that you're trying to solve. In addition, you need to work with a company that can help you to properly dashboard and properly develop reports and analytics that you can share internally. And this is probably one of the most important components, because the way that you communicate the data and the insights that you've got has just as much bearing as the quality of the analysis in the first place. And the ability to effectively communicate this to the right teams in a timely manner and an automated manner so that they can subsequently do work with it and make some changes so that you can improve whatever system or problem you're working on has a huge impact for a business. That kind of sums up that article. There's going to be, stay tuned, please subscribe to our YouTube channel here. We're going to continue to talk about this and many other aspects of business intelligence and data analytics. And hopefully you'll find it insightful. And please, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to include them in the notes below. Thank you.